whāngai. Our hapu is Ngāti Hikairo. This was my home. This was where my grandparents lived. We grew up in the house with my grandparents, and it was after they passed away that my dad and his sisters decided to build a marae here at Mokai Kainga. That name was given to the marae by the last king, King Koroki. This is the youngest marae in this area. It was started here in 1952, but originally they'd bought a building and they stood it where the meeting house is, the wharekai, and it was just a hall, and that was the beginnings of the marae because the old house was still standing here, the house of my grandparents. It was later demolished to make way for this, but what they did is someone set fire to the house and burnt it, and then when it was burnt, they scraped up all the ashes. The old people scraped them up. They dug a hole underneath, and they said, "Waihotia ngā pungarehu, hei whakamahana i te whare hou." That is, keep all the ashes buried under here to warm the new building when it's built. This building was built in 1972. When the meeting house was first built, there were no carvings at all on it. In later years, that the Wānanga o Aotearoa, they found Rongo Wetere, came and offered to carve the front of the meeting house. He did the carvings as his koha to the marae. When they went to carve them, I just said to Rongo Wetere, if he would just get something nice carved, it didn't matter what it was, as long as there was some nice carvings. He went away and came back and said, no, the boys wouldn't carve it unless they had something to carve, they had a story to carve. And so I said, well, in that case, I'll have to talk to my dad because they don't know what's going on. I was just getting it done as a surprise for them. Then I went to ask my dad, and he said, the teko teko on top of the building will be Marae. Because of the high winds here and the size of that carving, it may fall and it would kill someone if it fell on them.
Oh, that was supposed to go
That's
up
the one
there.
supposed to be up the top. That carving there was one that I just made. We called it tangaroa. Hey. The other carvings on the top, on the maihis, on the right-hand side, is the Aotea canoe. The Aotea canoe is the canoe that the Taranaki people came on. And their canoe is still in the harbour, as told by our tūpuna. The Tainui canoe is on the other side, on the Kawhia harbour, and it's still down there. The first figure at the top, that's the captain of the Tainui canoe, that's Hoturoa. The one on this side, that's Turi. Turi was the captain of the Aotea canoe. And then when we carved the centre pole, that carving was depicting George Hull, who was a Scotsman. He was married to Manga, had Hua Manuka, who was Dad's mother. When they were carving this, it wasn't until they had just about finished when I went over and I saw it and I said, oh, that guy was a Scotsman. And they said, oh, you should have told us we're going to put a kilt on him. I said to Dad about the carvings, I said, I didn't believe that women should be on the front of the building, that it wasn't a place for women. And my dad said to me, the first voice you hear on a marae is a woman when they call. That's the first voice. He said, someday you'll stand on this marae by yourself and you'll have no one to call for you. Leave those two women to call to welcome anybody onto this marae. So that's why there are two women on the front. One side is Manga. On the right-hand side is Hua Manuka, who was Dad's mother. So that was, Marae was Dad's great-grandfather. Manga was his grandmother. Hua Manuka was Dad's mother, and then my dad. That's virtually the story of this marae. And as a family, we just run it, welcome, open the marae to any groups, and we try and make it a home for a lot of people. Tēnei rā te mihi.
Tonu.